PDR Tool Time, your industry podcast, tools, reviews, and stories.
Welcome to another episode of PDR Tool Time. I'm your host, John Renstrom, alongside Vince D'Alessandro and Hudson Tansey. This time, Daniel Grom, the Grominator, is gone. We are all alone. The kids have been left with no babysitter. We're on episode 160. The clothes are getting ripped off. Everything's getting crazy, and today we're just going to get to know Vince on a much deeper personal level.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Before we get into it, though, let's give a little bit of love to our sponsors. We got Mobile Tech RX as a sponsor. We got Magnatech Mat as a sponsor. Hog Glue and Hog Tabs. CBD Direct, which is awesome product, which is going really well for me. I don't know about you, John.
Oh, it's doing wonders for me, I'll be honest.
And our good friends, Dave Streen over at Edgy Tools. Make sure you go and support our sponsors. They offer discounts. Edgy has a 10 or 15% discount with PDRTT as a promo code, and also with CBD Direct Oils, it's also PDRTT for 10% off.
And that's making a world of difference on me. So I put some in my orange juice every morning, and
I can in your orange juice, huh?
Yeah,
you just drink it.
I drink it. It does taste like dirt when I stick it under my tongue, but so I put it in my orange juice, and when I take my morning pills.
Oh, I'm used to that taste, man. Actually, I take it right before bed. And I take it in place of ibuprofens now. Works every time.
See, if I take it right before bed, I sleep so hard for like 3 hours. I'm up at like 4 a.m. You know, I should brick the street. Yeah. And it's like, well, maybe I should probably only take that with my breakfast.
Do they use bricks on streets still? Is that a thing?
In Deadwood, South Dakota, they do.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's like, it seemed very labor intensive and a good way to burn off some energy. I reorganized my garage once, and I was like, I can't take it before bed.
Jeez, you must have gotten like the energy version of the CBD oil. I got the Serenity one, which I
have the Serenity.
Yeah,
but I learned a long time ago. This was with a previous brand, and but I will say this stuff this Serenity that they sent us out, man. I was really glad to get it. I'd used up some stuff I bought in Colorado. And I was thinking, man, I gotta run back to Colorado, and then it showed up just in time. And
so do they have a picture of George Costanza on the bottle
of Serenity? No,
because that would be fantastic.
Is he the face of Serenity, Hudson?
Serenity now.
Oh, right.
Maybe you remember that? I don't.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't a big Seinfeld guy. Like I watched the episodes when they first came out, but I never go back and watch them. Yeah.
We went old school. We've been watching Mork and Mindy. We just finished it last night.
Oh, you know what?
1978 to 1982.
I do watch Gilligan's Island on Saturday afternoons. That's my thing.
And I'm just waiting for baseball season.
Me too. I can't wait for baseball season. In fact, my local college team that I have season tickets to, they haven't even really played. They've been washed out the whole time here. So I've already missed a few games. They had a game today at 1 o'clock. It's like, I'm not going to 1 o'clock. I got to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been washed out over here. So anyways, welcome to PDR Tool Time. We got an awesome show. These guys are going to grill me. We have a new segment called Meet Your Podcaster. And they chose me to interview on this episode. And later on, we'll do John, and we'll do Daniel, and we'll also do Hudson. And we'll get the backgrounds for all of us and funny stories along the way. So we're not going to make this whole episode about that. We will talk about some tools at the end that we're using and that we're liking these days. So what do you guys want to know?
Everything. everything.
Who is Vince on a deeper level?
On a deeper
I mean,
level.
we've heard you talk for 160 episodes, so it's about for 159. This is 160. So
Sure.
It's like, you know what? Who is this guy? Why do we care?
All right. So we've talked, we've all talked about how long we've been in the business, but you started, what year did you start PDR?
I started PDR in 1995, January of 1995.
Okay.
Woo.
I was in Dent Wizard School. Hudson, were you born then?
I was in first or second grade.
Oh,
Just in elementary.
All right. Okay.
1995. Okay. So what did you do? Now, I started in a body shop in 1990. So what were you doing prior to that? You and I are the same age.
Yeah, we're both 44. You're going to be
I'm
45. Okay,
I already turned 45.
I'll be 45 next month. So prior to that, out of high school, I went to college. I went to DeVry for like a trimester, and they threw calculus at me. I said, hell no, and got out of there. And I started in the printing industry. I started running printing presses, running small presses, and two-color presses and stuff like that. And I started going to college to learn printing because I actually loved it. I loved the hands-on approach of dealing with halftone dots and lining things up and getting things straight. And I loved taking the printing presses down every week and oiling them up and putting them back together. I thought it was awesome.
Is that still going on today? Like, do they still do that same method? Do you know?
For the most part, yeah. Like if it's called offset printing, that's what offset printing is printing presses.
Okay. Awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you were trained at Dent Wizard School in St. Louis?
Yeah. So here's the deal. I had gone to school to learn how to be a stripper, and if you're in the printing industry, the title stripper means something different in the printing industry.
I know, but we're dealing with dent people here.
Yeah. So. A stripper is someone that takes the films and makes the printing plates out of it for the printing presses.
Sure.
And when you're dealing with a 4-color process, which makes every color of the rainbow, you have halftone dots. And back in the day, it was film, and you would have to line up the film perfectly on top of each other. You had cyan, red, magenta, and black. And those 4 colors make every color of everything printed in the world, right? So kind of like your printer at home.
Yeah.
So the stripper lines up all the negatives to be in line. That way, when it goes to the press, it prints properly. Yeah.
Okay, but how did that lead you to Dent Wizard?
Okay, that led to the Dent
How does that
Wizard.
tie into PDR?
So I was getting paid like
other than stripper.
Right. I was getting paid $12 an hour running, being a stripper in a printing company. And I'm like, oh man, this really blows. I'm never going to get anywhere in life. It's not really, it could be a good career thing. But at the time I was 19 years old, almost 20. And I'm like, I'm looking for something else. And I knew this guy, Joe Wilson, that worked for Dent Wizard. I asked him for months, dude, get me a job. So I don't know. You're too young. They don't hire young people. I'm like, dude, just get me in front of someone and let me charm them. So he got Terry Kebby, which was the vice president of Dent Wizard at the time. He was coming up to Chicago from St. Louis, and I said, all right, put me in front of him. I got a meeting with him, and I convinced him to hire me. And at the time, I was the youngest corporate technician they had ever hired at 20 years old.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I shot out to Dent Wizard School. What month are we in now? March? Yeah. So March 1st, 25 years ago, would be my first month out on the road, out of school.
Dang. And like, how long was the school? Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month?
No, 2 months. 2 months.
2 months. Okay.
2 months training.
But what really sucked was that I was 20 and everyone else was 21 and older. So, so the parties were going on. They were going to bars. They were going to strip clubs in East St. Louis. Which, if you ever been to East St. Louis, I don't know what they are now, but 25 years ago they were epic. The strip clubs back then. So
How would you know?
Last
You were
time I
only
drove
20.
last time I drove through East St. Louis, I don't know if epic would be the terminology that I would really use to describe East St. Louis.
no, well, I could get into the strip clubs because the ones that didn't serve alcohol, I think, was 18 and over. So I did go to a couple strip clubs and had a couple dollar bills lifted off of my nose, and they weren't using their hands.
I'm the goody two-shoes who has literally never been to a strip club and have no desire.
Yeah. You know what, dude? I have no desire now because you know why?
You've got a pretty great wife.
I got a great wife, and not only that, but the wife goes, "Yeah, you could go to strip clubs whenever you want." It's like, well, no, I don't want to. You earned it. There's no mystery.
I'm a tight ass. I'll be honest. I'm a straight up tight ass. You know, it's like I have seen people that are strippers, and it's like, if I give you $1, I expect change. You know? So I'm not going to make it rain. I'm going to make it hail. It's like ching, ching, ching.
I had a couple of good customers that were strippers, and they seriously always paid in money.
I live in the boondocks.
Yeah.
I live truly out into nowhere.
Yeah.
I think the only strip club around here, I think there's one left. One of the other ones closed. I've never even been through the door.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
okay. But sorry. We were talking about strip clubs, and I'm trying to get back to Vince.
You got distracted.
With
East St. Louis. That's got to be.
Yeah.
So you go to how? Okay, so you just were going to bothering your friend, like, hey, I want to get into the business.
Yeah.
Get me, and that's what got you in. Like, did you have any experience with cars before this? Or
Not
anything?
at all. I've never been a car guy. I'm still not a car guy.
Really.
When growing up in Chicago, a car is a piece of equipment that gets you from point A to point B. It doesn't
And
last.
rusts out in 3 years.
Exactly. You get a new car every 3 to 5 years. So
this was in Chicago when you were living in Chicago.
correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm born and raised in Chicago. All my family's
Yeah.
in Chicago. I'm the only one out here on the West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now here's what I want to know is how much different is the technology from when you learned then to now?
Well, it's night and day. The technology with the tools, definitely
Yeah.
night and day. For years, even when I left Dent Wizard in 2000, I had sworn tooth and nail, and you would have to take my old Dent Wizard tools out of my cold, dead hands. You know, it's like
Yeah.
there's no way, no tools are better than the Dent Wizard tools. And
they had some phenomenal tools.
They
There's
did.
still some really good relevant tools.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I still do use some of the flat bars and whatnot. But I was cheap. I had to start my own business in 2000 when I left Dent Wizard involuntarily. And what happened was in May, I had bought my house that I currently live in Long Beach, California.
Mm-hmm.
June, I got married to my wife and had a ready-made family. She had a son with a previous relationship. And then by September, I got fired from Dent Wizard. So I'm like, what the F? What the F am I
Yeah.
going to do? You know,
Yeah.
here I am. I'm, out here in California for 3 years now. The only thing I know is dent removal. I don't, I can't do anything else. I love this industry. So I started driving. I drove limos at night. I went and bought like an old '89 Mazda B2000 truck. Took it to One Day Paint. Paid like $300 to get it painted one color because it was like multicolors. I slapped some decals on the back window, and off I went. I'm like, I got to make this happen.
Oh man!
So I did not have a choice.
And
Now, you
were
moved-
you- yeah.
What made you move from Chicago? I mean, we talked about this in the past, and you worked auction houses and stuff in Chicago, correct?
No, I had a route, but I did work the Chicago Auto Auctions and ADP auctions, the Manheim and ADP, both of them. I would help out Dave Shalat at ADP. He was in charge of ADP auction, and then Manheim was a different guy, Joe Wilson.
Okay. So what moved you from Chicago to, I mean, that you're there, you're making money, you're doing that, and then 2,000 miles away.
Exactly. I wanted to be a rock star. I actually I was a musician, and I had a studio band in Chicago, and I was offered a record contract in California. So there was 3 of us in the band. We never had played live at all, but we had shopped our record. And Hollywood Records out here in California, they wanted us. So we're like, all right, let's do it. We're out of here. I'm going. But even when I was a kid, I knew that I was going to live in California one day.
Really?
So
Now, wait a second. Did you guys make a record?
We did make a record.
Where can I listen to it?
You can't because it's sitting up on a shelf in some like storage facility.
No. We're gonna find what's the address?
Wait, what?
Who works there? How are we gonna get it? Can I have it next?
What was the name of the band?
There was really no name for the band either. We were purely a studio album that never got released on that. But then I ended up playing with a whole bunch of Hollywood bands and California bands once I moved out here. At the time, I was the only one smart enough not to sign a full-length contract, because what they had offered was, yeah, we're going to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I was the only one that had a job, too. And I went to Dent Wizard and said, hey, I'm moving to California. If you want me to work for you, you got to pay for my transfer. So they actually transferred me out, and it was all expenses paid. So when we got out to California to sign this contract, I was the only one that had a little bit of business savviness to me. The other guys were just, knucklehead musicians. I'm like, I'm not signing this. You guys, you do realize we're going to owe all this money back to the record company. So, just sign it, just sign it. They were putting us up in this house down by the beach and studio time and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no. So our album ended up getting shelved because of that.
Oh, wow. So what happened to the 2 bandmates? Now, are they still in the music industry? And here you are slinging dents?
One of them I still talk to. He's out in Arizona. He went back to the building industry. He was a framer.
I didn't know Dave Stream was in a band with you. Sorry.
Actually, the guy's name is Dave, but it's not Stream.
That's awesome.
And then the other guy, the singer, went back to Chicago because he couldn't hang with it. It was a little bit too crazy out here.
Huh.
And it was crazy. In the early 2000s and late 90s, it was pretty crazy out here. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, hold on. But really, what kind of music did you play? Because you're a bass player, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And what kind of music?
We played what I would consider alternative rock. Alternative poppy radio rock. What you would listen to on any alternative.
So you're a guitar bass player,
Correct.
Not an upright bass.
No. Which leads me to another thing, because I actually lost a gig with Mike Ness, which is Social Distortion, if you guys know that name.
Yeah, I know the name.
When I moved out here, he wanted me to go on tour with him, and because he had just released a new album covering the Man in Black's songs.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash. Sorry. So he made a whole album of Johnny Cash songs, and he was going on tour across the world to promote it. And I went and auditioned, and I got the gig. And then he calls me back. He's like, "You know how to play upright bass, right?" I go, "No." He's like, we need an upright bass player. So that one was.
Oh man!
I'm like, I'll learn how to.
But okay, look, I play bass. Isn't it the same thing? That was my first instrument. Don't you just take the bass and flip it vertical and bada bing, bada boom?
That's what I told him. I'm like, I can figure it out in a couple, 2-3 weeks. He's like, no. Because it's all about the showmanship too. You got to be up on stage and comfortable with it and bouncing around and stuff. You can't just be a lump in the log in the corner.
Yo-yo ma overnight.
Exactly.
Well,
so yeah,
I gotta. Now I'm like feeling bad. I'm thinking, man, I gotta do one of these interviews. And
yeah,
I did not interview with anybody from Social Distortion. That's badass.
That's awesome.
I think that's pretty cool, Vince.
But it's cool.
I was halfway hoping that you played in a ska band.
No, I love ska.
In California in the 2000s. I was a ska kid. I grew up on ska.
I grew up listening to the Specials and Fishbone. Then not really total ska, but all the stuff, Madness, all that. I loved that stuff back in the day.
That's crazy. So the technology. What would you say has come the furthest in tool technology from? Like night and day difference from when it first started.
Number one is our lighting systems. We never had a light back in 95. We had our fog boards, and we would get a snap-on light, and 2 bungee cords, tiny little bungee cords, and wrap them around the backside of the light. And that's how we made, a light board back in the day. And then someone came out with a light fixture, and we put a fog board in front of that. And then it just kind of evolved. But now, you have a James Lee Illuminant light that's just freaking awesome. Version 3 is just off the hook.
Yeah.
So,
Let's not forget Stucky's light. I don't have Stucky's light, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about his light too.
Yeah, absolutely. My first cordless light was a Stucky light, and I still have it to this day, and it still works. I
have version 1 Illuminant light the one he ran over with the motorcycle.
Yeah. I still have my version 1 Illuminant. In fact, I actually preferred my Stucky light over the version 1 Illuminant light for ages before I switched over. So my issue with the Stucky lights is the narrowness of it. I wish it was a little bit wider. So that's why I've leaned more towards Illuminant.
Yeah. I'm a little bit in the same camp myself.
Yeah, less movement of your board, but it's still a great board.
Oh, absolutely. So, I remember going to RV stores and buying overhead RV lighting.
Yeah,
those overhead RV
12-volt fluorescent overheads.
Yeah, the fluorescent overheads. Those are about a foot long, and you would just take a spray can and spray a fog line down the middle of it, pop that bad boy back on there, and then I would I'd buy an extension cord and cut the end off and wire it, and then I would make it to where I could plug it into a cigarette lighter if I wanted to, or I would have a converter that I could plug into the wall. It was. I remember all that.
We had to do whatever we had to do. I mean, that's number one thing that has changed the most.
I would agree there. Technology-wise, the lights are just amazing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They are.
Y'all ever worry about if there's staring into an LED light for so long, how much we do, what that does to our eyes?
Well, I've been fixing dents more than half of my life now. And I still have my eyes, and I still don't wear glasses during the day. I'm almost completely blind at night when it gets dark out. But during the day, I'm still not wearing glasses. So I don't know.
That's why I started switching to these glasses that block out some of that light, just in migraines and stuff. So
I actually prefer yellow lights over white. I know majority of people, if you watch my videos, you'll see more yellow lights than anything because it's softer on my eyes.
Yeah.
I actually trained on a yellow board. It was a yellow board with the fog line.
Yeah.
So
I think it's easier to see detail with yellow, the contrast.
Yeah.
Yep. Except on yellow cars, it sucked.
Yeah.
So outside of, have y'all ever gone back and tried to fix a dent with just a line board? Old school.
I still use a line board. I use them every day.
A fog board without a light behind it.
Yeah.
You still do that?
I have my outside fog board is a Stucky fog board that I use outside every day.
Now I can do it outside, but I can't, fog board. I cannot use a line board. It's like, wow, Pickling Pete was here,
Yeah.
So I can't, I've never been able to use a line board whatsoever.
Yeah.
I have no clue how I was able to use an unlit fog board in the early days when I started. I mean, that's how I fixed dents exclusively. I didn't for the first year or two, I didn't have a light up board. I just used a fog board that used the reflection of the sun.
Yeah. And that's what I still do.
Yeah.
I still do when I'm outside.
I can't do it. I tried it a while back and I was like, how did I do this?
Well, you have the sun to your back and let the sun hit your reflection board.
I know that.
Bend it.
That. All right. I'm just saying the difference is going from watching Star Wars on a VCR and watching it in 4K. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got my VCR all functional now.
So here we go. What in your 20? How many years now? 20 what?
I just started my 25th year now.
25th year.
Yeah.
Your 25 years. Besides the Magnatech, Matt, because I know you're partial to that. What has been your favorite tool invention in the PDR world thus far?
Well, I'm a pretty modest guy, so I never would choose my own product.
That's very modest of you to say.
Even though I do think it's, even though I do think it's pretty remarkable.
Killing me, Smalls! You're killing me!
Oh, man.
We know your view on lighting, so let's exclude lighting. What would you say is probably your favorite tool invention, whether it's an accessory or anything? What?
That's a little bit on the spot because there's so many different ones. What I can't live without?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I could take that.
That's one way to put it. Yeah.
Well, everyone knows I cannot live without my Craftsman hammer.
Yes.
So
hashtag Paul Gordon.
Hashtag Paul Gordon. Hashtag Carbon Tech. I'm buying the
Todd
new
Zimmerman.
Attachments. As soon as you get restocked, I'll be getting that to put on some other hammers to see how they feel. It's really hard to say because, man, that I got to tell you, the Auto Cup changed my world. The BatVac, when the BatVac came out.
Oh yeah,
because I don't use a light. I don't use a light fixture, a full size light. No, I have one. It sits in my shop. I don't even use it in the shop unless I have hail damage. Then I'll pull it out, and that only happens like 2 to 3 times a year. Everything else is just my 14-inch or my 20-inch.
I'm so reverse of the two of you.
Yeah,
it's like, dang it, I got to get the little light. But I mean, the version 3 now, yeah, I can see. I watched everybody that had the little lights, and it was like.
Yeah.
Drives
you bananas.
Yeah. And I'm like, I am not dicking with that on a hail car.
Yeah.
And so, but now with the version 3, I'll be honest, I've used it in my office as an office light. I use that thing for everything.
Well, one thing that I cannot live without, that I probably use more than anything else tool-wise, is my Ultra double bend. I think it's an A36, 36 inches long. And
the light blue handle,
yeah, with interchangeable tips.
I have this, and it almost has like a 90-degree bend at the very end.
Yeah, that's my door tool. That's my go-to door tool. Whenever I have a dent, I always start off with a chair rail tip, a soft tip, and then I gravitate to intermediate and then a sharp if I need to. But that has always had that replaced my Ford tool. If you're an old dent wizard guy, you know what a Ford tool is. It's very similar, but the diameter is smaller on it. And everyone was like, oh, you can't put a double bend A36 down a door. I go, yeah, I do. I do it every day. Oh, you're going to break a window. I've literally broken 9 windows in 24 years. So, that's not even an issue. I use it everywhere. It's like my Windex from my Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Greek Wedding, yeah.
I walk around with that.
But that's on my go-to.
Yeah.
Like that exact tool is one of my go-tos.
Yeah.
And then right next to it, I have the Dentcraft interchangeable one. It has a little bit more girth to it in case that one starts doing a little more, has too much flex. Then I'll switch to that Dentcraft one.
I don't think we're talking about the same tool because the A36, I don't think there's any flex in that. Unless you have a longer version of it.
I only have the one that's 24.
It's skinny.
Maybe it's
skinny.
24.
So like, it's a skinnier. You said it's a 3.
That's it. We're going to the internet.
To the internet. Google. So yeah, okay. So I can't live without that. While he's googling that.
Okay. So what is business-wise? So how long have you had your own PDR business?
Since 2000. I started my business, Dents No More, in 2000. It wasn't Dents No More in 2000. It was the Professional Paintless Dent Removal Company. Actually, it started at V&M Enterprises, my name and my wife's name. And then went to the Professional, and then it went to Dents No More, which was because of Mike Toledo. He's like, dude, you're the Professional Paintless Dent Removal Company. It's too damn long, and your website's Dents No More. So why don't you just call your friggin' company Dents No More? I'm like, oh, okay.
Thanks, Mike. Okay, so besides having a horrible name, what's a poor business decision you've made that you're willing to admit and say, like, you know what, that was stupid. That puts you on the spot, but if it was that stupid, you'd remember.
I don't have any, to be honest with you. I've always either succeeded or taken a bad thing into a positive. My biggest issues with my business is the 1 to 2 customers a year I get that are turds. They bring me down so far because I'm always
trying. Do you obsess on them?
I obsess on them. I got one right now.
Yeah.
And it only happens once a year or twice a year that they're customers that you just can never please. And I smell them. I smell them a mile away when they come into my shop. But
Well,
for
I've
some
seen your
reason-
nose. That doesn't surprise me.
Right? Yeah, it's big. It's a big sniffer. But for some reason, I still take their business and then kick myself afterwards because they're trying to get it for free is what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
You can never,
Oh yeah, we
never
all
please
know
them.
this.
So,
I a long time ago, I come up with a rule, and I guess when it's my turn, we'll probably go into this in detail. But when the hairs on your back of your neck come up, and you know that customer just instantly, I'm out. And it was not easy to do that, and very difficult to walk away from a customer because we're in the automotive trade. You know, we want every single car, but man, I just slept so much better at night when I got rid of those people from my life. They're just toxic.
it's come up with a clever way of telling them that we don't want your business that I struggle with because I don't want to be a dick about it. And I don't want them going and writing a review on Yelp and Google and all that stuff. What I really want to come out and tell them, I can't. So
Yeah.
that's it.
I started using the pricing method.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, man, your job is going to have to compete with all of my other work. This work has to produce me X dollars per hour. So, your repair, it's a very extreme, and I know what this car means to you. And so $26,500, and I should be able to fix that scratch and over. And you look at him with that dead serious eye, you got to give him that Paul Corden, I nailed you with the price of dent, matrix, and I'm holding my ground and be like, yeah, that's just what it's going to have to take. I wish I could help you, but I'm bound by corporate policy.
Yeah.
It's worse whenever you do that and you're like, I don't want to fix this. So you just price it some astronomical price. And they're like, oh, awesome. Cool. When can we schedule it? Like, what? I had that 2 weeks ago where it was like 30 degrees and raining. And I was like, I do not want to be working today at all. And I was like, yeah, like this whole thing was caved in. And I just was like, nah, not doing this today. And so I priced it. I priced it like I typically give discounts. Like I won't charge, instead of like there's a body line here and then like a edge of panel, I'll knock off the edge of panel upcharge, and just charge for the body line upcharge. I charged for everything. I said, look, this is edge of panel. This is body line. It's this many inches of damage. I have to remove this. I charged for every last thing, no discounts whatsoever. And they were just like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I'm just like, all right. And now I'm working in 30-degree weather in the rain. It's fantastic.
But I had to learn that skill from a very small town. I grew up in a town of 4,000 people.
Yeah.
And,
you don't want to piss
and you
off
had to
too
drive
many
60
people.
miles to get to another town.
Yeesh.
So, yeah. So you had to be really, really creative, and that was, I just price those people away. But you're right. I have had that happen where it's like, man, I nailed that guy. He's gone. And they're like, yeah, we should fix that. Oh, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to leave a mark.
Yeah.
Now,
I had
go ahead.
the Bentley the other day, and I don't know if you guys were on my Instagram, but I had a Bentley in the shop. And to be honest with you, all the problem customers I have recently are paint related with my paint department. It's never dent removal related. So there's a lot more factors with paint than there will ever be with PDR. So this Bentley guy, and he's been our customer for probably about 2 years now. I actually told him we no longer want to do business with you. And he goes, really? I go, yeah. He's like, okay. But there was a little bit more to it, because he thought we overcharged him for painting his interior panels, which had a minor little scuff on it. And I had to tear apart half his car to get the console apart. And he's complaining about me charging him $250. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. He's just
On
like,
a Bentley.
Yeah.
just go somewhere else. Go somewhere.
I said,
Yep.
you know what? I think
Yeah.
he wanted me to. He's like, well, you already charged me for the other thing, so it's just based on. It's not the money; it's just the principle of it. I go, you know what? Don't even pay us anything. but you know what? We're done doing business. So.
Golly. There's a neighborhood in my area called Carlton Woods. It's gated. It takes me 15, 20 minutes just to get into this neighborhood with a security check every single time. And those customers, I go through the most hoops to jump through, and they are the cheapest. And it is the richest neighborhood by far. I mean, like the cheapest home is like $2 million. And they're the ones who give me the most hassle. Like, really, $100 for that? And I go, here's my price guide. Okay. Here's my price guide. I'm not charging you more because you have an expensive car. This is what it is. And you can even see the discount I'm giving you. They're like, I'm not paying that. I'm like, okay, cool. And I turn around and get in my van. I'm like, wait, you're leaving? And I'm just like, yes, I am. But you came all the way out here. I go, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Just do it.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous if you think about it, because for the technicians out there that don't work on exotic cars or ultra exotic cars, there's nothing easy about working on them. There's always some issue that comes up with working on a Bentley or working on a Rolls Royce or working on a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. They're more time consuming than your average production car. You have to charge more. You have to. And for them to be ungrateful about it just irks me to the bone.
So moving forward with more questions about you, Mr. Vince.
Uh-huh.
Okay, your worst business decision. We've got that. What would you say is probably one of the best things you've ever done for your business? Like, what's a decision you've made where it's like, okay, that really took me to the next level? What was it?
That would be getting a shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting a retail location took me to the next level, by all means.
So how long have you been in your shop?
We're just starting our 5th year now. I just signing the lease for the 5th year.
Yeah. And before that, what were you doing? Route work or mobile retail?
No, I've always been mobile retail. Ever since I left Dent Wizard, I was in fear of getting sued by them for the non-complete contract. And not that they would have won, but they would have made me lawyer poor. And they would have kept me in court, and I would have paid, thousands of dollars, paying lawyers. And they wouldn't have won, but I would have paid out a lot of money. So I made a conscious decision never to step into one of their accounts. So when I left Dent Wizard, I went into doing detailing shops, and I did have a couple dealerships that Dent Wizard weren't in that I did the body shops only. So that's how I built my retail business. I supplemented. I had a mixed pot of body shops, detail shops, and retail until I built my retail business. Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right, I got 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
If you could go back and change one thing in your PDR career, what would that be?
Oh, in my PDR career, I think I would have to say something along the lines of I probably missed opportunities to grow my business out of laziness.
Laziness or not wanting to take the risk?
I'm a risk taker. Moving into a shop was a big risk.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't mind taking risks, but when you're a independent PDR guy, not doing hail damage, just doing route work, you get really used to getting off at 1:00 and going and hanging out with your kids, or going to the beach, or going, doing whatever you want to do. Go hang out at a bar or a strip club or whatever you're going to do, or 3:00, and you get into that rut and routine that it stunts your growth, with growing your business. There's still a few hours of the workday left that you should be out doing something or growing your business.
Yeah. Like if you're not pushing, then you should be doing something to build it, on the web or knocking on doors, stuff like that.
Yeah. Or just going and checking on accounts. I had to get disciplined about myself.
Sometimes going right into your account or random accounts, people that you haven't talked to in a while can make just a huge difference.
Exactly. Bringing them a box of donuts on a slow day, in the morning if you got nothing going on, instead of sitting around playing Xbox or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my last question.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know if John has any more. Do you have any just completely outlandish, ridiculous, funny stories of just something ridiculous that's happened to you pertaining to something that's happened on a car or anything. I just want to hear something that's. I need a laugh, okay? Hey, Vince, make me laugh.
Laugh at my expense, huh?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I've burnt paint on a $2 million Ferrari.
No.
Yeah.
How?
Okay. I was at one of my Ferrari accounts that does restoration, and we're talking an old one, like a 64 or something like that. And
okay, so it's not a 3-stage paint, just a single stage.
It's just a single stage on there. It's probably Glazert or whatever, single stage. It was a brand new paint job, and they had a door ding on the driver's door. And I got out my torch, and I don't use heat. I didn't use heat guns. I used torches, and it didn't have the new attachments that we have for our torches that don't actually shoot out flames. This was, one that shot out flames. You click it and, you got flames coming out. And it was a really hot day in the shop, and they have one of those swamp coolers on the roof of the shop that kicks on and sucks all the hot air out. And it's really loud, and it's like, grrr. So I was about to heat up the panel, and that sucker kicked on. I'm like, what's it going to do? Well, when I hit the trigger to start the flame, it actually shot out flame balls and hit the paint, and instantly, boom.
No.
Burn marks. Yeah, and blistered it.
So what'd you have to do?
Well, first I got up and walked around in circles saying, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! What'd I do? What'd I do? What'd I just do? What'd I just do? Oh shit!" Because I know better. You know what I mean? It was a pure lazy move that I should have gone and said, "Hey, you need to turn that off for a minute while I warm up the panel," or went and got a heat gun.
Would you have not? I mean, how could you know that it was going to shoot freaking fireballs out of it? I mean,
because it's done it every single time he's ever fired it up.
Yeah, usually with those propane torches with MAP gas, you pull the trigger and there's a little, that there's an instant of fireball coming out.
What's funny is that paint had to have been so sensitive. If you think about a lot of the clear coats, they probably wouldn't have gotten hot enough to even affect it.
Yeah,
but it was probably some form of, depending upon how fresh that paint was, anything like that, to be able to get that.
Maybe there was still solvents evaporating out of it. Who knows?
That could have been. Yeah.
Did you have to pay to have it repainted?
I did not. But I'm always honest. If I break something that I'm working on, I always pay to replace it or fix it.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
I never hide things from customers unless it's like a clip or something like that that's behind a door. But if I break a trim piece or trim panel, yeah. If I don't have it, I might go steal one off the other door and put it on there.
if someone has a Dodge, I just instantly know, sir, I'm just going to break all your clips.
Right.
Yeah.
So I told him I fixed the dent. Once I calmed down, I fixed the dent, and I went and I told the guy, "Hey, listen, I did something to the paint." I didn't tell him I burned it. I was too embarrassed to tell him what I did. So I say, "Hey, I did something to the paint." They're like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll just send it back to the paint shop." I'm like, "Oh, thank God." This is the Ferrari shop that I've been doing for 15 years, and these aren't normal, $100,000 Ferraris, $200,000 Ferraris. They start at $1 million and go up. They're all the old ones that go to Tour de Elegance up in Pebble Beach and Italy. They're the really expensive ones.
Well, Vince, John, you got any other questions? If not, I think.
No, you came in with so many questions. I read your list. I'm like, hell, I'm piggybacking off of you, brother.
Yeah.
Vince, I want to say thanks. I'm glad we were able to do that. I know that that's not something that you're comfortable with, but I feel like everyone that listens to the podcast should get to know you a little bit more,
Yeah.
So.
The only other things that I'm kind of proud of is with the Magnatech mat, obviously that was my invention.
Yeah.
And the other things too that I'm really proud of is the IMI certification of being a certified instructor for IMI, which is really a big deal. We kind of downplay that stuff, but I went to England and I studied for a long time, and I've never been a good student. And going to England and passing that exam, and not just for the EV electric vehicles, but also for the paintless dent removal certification to become an instructor. It was a good accomplishment for me.
That leads us into the kind of the tail end of who is Vince. Now, the future for Vince.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we got going forward for you now?
Well, going forward, I'm selling my business in California. So anyone that wants to move to California, I have a paint department that you'd walk right into, and you'd be filled with as much paintless dent removal repairs as you want. And they're all priced properly right now. So
Nice.
I've built a great business. Dents No More is kicking butt. And it's going to be a little bit, sad to see it go because it's been my baby for the last 19 years. But, I've moving on. I've taken the position with Anson PDR, which it's already official, but I won't be moving to Texas for another year and a half until June of 2020.
So are we going to go get some boots together? Yeehaw!
As long as they're double wides, double E's, right, John?
Yeah, I'm down. I've been trying to figure out some good places to get boots while I was there for all those years.
Cavender's boots.
Cavender's is what I hear.
Hey man, you go Cavender, get yourself a boot, get some Justin Fan and Wranglers, whatever you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I guess I need some cowboy boots, huh?
Some cowboy boots. We got to take you to the state fair. We got to go to the rodeo.
I've been to rodeo.
He's been.
Have you been to the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo?
No, just
that
Fort
is the
Worth.
biggest one in the world. Because Houston is way better than Dallas. I'm sorry that you're moving so close to Dallas, but we'll forgive you.
Well, I'll be kind of closer. I'll be living in Burleson most likely. It's a little bit outside of town.
Yeah.
So that's the future. Working for Anson, doing the IMI certification, and doing a few more things with Anson that we can't really tell you about right now, but they're going to be friggin' awesome, and everyone's going to love them.
I'm excited.
There's going to be some good stuff there at the new Anson location.
Yeah, and I encourage everyone to come down to the Bonanza. It's going to be bonanzas. It's going to be bonkers, right?
If Craig Dyer's not in a banana suit soon for a Bonanza. That's what I need next time. Or can we get Craig in an Easter Bunny suit? It is going to be Good Friday.
No,
right?
we put Clifton Atkins in an Easter Bunny. He was Santa Claus at Christmas.
Is Clifton going to be there? Because that makes
he lives
He'll
close.
be there. Yeah,
He normally swings in.
Do they make bunny suits that big?
we'll have one made.
Oof. Fantastic.
So, all right, I was on the Ultras, now swinging this all the way back around into the tool world. I'm on Ultra's website, and the only one double bend with a 90-degree head is the ST3802. It's a 24-inch tool, 7/16. Has screw-in tips.
Okay, let me see this here. I'm going to plug that in.
Yeah, I believe
Let's see if this is the right tool.
Let me search with the
Ultra
Google.
has a new website, so you have to kind of like shop.
Oh, okay.
Tools by
Okay, that right there, the ST, yeah, that is the one I have.
ST3802.
The double bend 90. That's one of my go-tos.
Now that is one I have it as well. It's a recent acquisition, bought from Anson in the store a couple years back. I really enjoy it. It's a great tool, but not my overall go-to. I'm actually gonna have to think about that for a week.
I just
That's
pulled it up. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. 24 inches. Isn't that said true man style? 36 turns out it's a whole 24.
Yeah, I do have the 36, but the 36 does wobble a little bit. There's a little bit.
That would have a bit of flex at
it
this
does
size.
flex. Yeah. So
Okay. Boom.
yeah,
There we go. We
So-
have figured it out.
not to move along from me, but I want to keep our listeners a little bit posted on some of the tools that we've gotten recently that we're going to be doing reviews on the show. I know for myself, I finally got the Dings hammer, adjustable tip hammer, and
the ratchet hatchet.
the ratchet hatchet, and I'm really happy that I got it. It's been really cool so far. I don't have a full report on it just yet, but I will be talking about that in the future episodes too, and I'll be giving my report.
Which handle did you get? Did you get the ball or did you get the Dings paddle? Handle?
It's flat. It's not a round handle, and it has a knockdown in the base.
Yeah. No. But he has one that does I wanted one. I like a ball on my, so it's a ball with a knockdown attached, or you can get the flat handle. He has two different kinds.
I got the flat handle, and I like the flat handle. I got too many round handles.
Yeah. No, it's good. They're both good.
They are. It's amazing.
And
I got to put it through the test, just like every other tool. Our listeners,
Absolutely.
my listeners, you guys expect me to give you a real report on stuff. And of course, if it's a turd, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't diss people's tools. But
someone sent me something the other day, and I can see someone using it and enjoying it, and I was like, man, I don't think this is for me. And I let him know. I gave him my feedback, and he was super appreciative of my feedback. But I'm not going to go on and dog it because I know someone else is going to pick up that same tool and they're going to enjoy it.
And
more
that's
than
the
I
thing.
would.
There's so many different ways to skin a cat. That was one of the sayings when I was in Dent Wizard training 25 years ago. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and there's plenty of different tools for each of us. So who am I to say that tool is crap when it could be someone else's favorite?
Yeah. What is it? There is, what is it? And there's enough people out there doing tool reviews now that they're probably that other person's going to enjoy it, and they're going to pimp it out.
Yeah.
Because they found the way they love it. But I will say with Dings, like the guy that Hayes Freeman who makes the Ratchet Hatchet, his pivot tips are great. I think he has 2.0 in the works. I was talking to him, and they're going to be even better because right now he's having to hand make these.
Yeah,
pretty much. And he's hand making all these tips, but now he's having like a full production mold made, and it's going to be next level. And I think it's going to pivot even more.
I really like the pivot tips. With the metal back or the metal coating, it makes really nice pushes. Really
I was talking to Mike Toledo about them, and he's like, yeah, I like them. I'm like, oh, really? So are you like the way they push? And he's like, well, I haven't actually used them for pushing yet. I'm like, what? Then what do you? He's like, I'm using them for knocking down.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, these would be great for knocking down.
He told me the same thing. I'm like, I didn't even think about knocking down with them.
I hate that I don't like it's that's what's great about having so many different minds. Like he's like, yeah, knocking down. I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. Why didn't I think of that?
And I got to tell you, the more and more I use these Standliner tools, the more I'm falling in love with them. I mean,
really?
Yeah. Down through the doors. I'm telling you, these crane tools.
Which one? But which one? Because I have the Pirate Hook. Okay. And I've only had I've owned it for 2 years now. And I've only had 2 dents that it had the perfect scenario where it works beautifully. It did exactly what it is advertised, and I loved it.
Uh-huh.
But it's only been those two dents.
Right.
And I've fixed thousands and thousands of dents. So which ones are you using that you're able to use more regularly? Because that's what I need.
I'm using the crane tool. They're both double bend. There's one with a slow bend to it, and then there's one like a hard bend. And the hard bend one you're just going to use in a fender and stuff like that. But the slow bend one, I use that every day now, and it's almost replacing my ST3802.
Really, down the door, you're just going to do that sweeping motion that Kaz does.
I'm doing the sweeping motion. I'm doing the prying motion. On regular door dings, they come out so damn clean and fast. I had one that was half in a brace today and half out of the brace. I'm like, oh crap, the wheel tail is going to be sitting there slipping off the whole time. Well, I grab that and you stick the sickle part into the brace, and then you're positioning it and just twisting it like you would a normal door tool, and you're pushing the dent out.
Do you have one with the adjustable handle or not the adjustable handle?
No such thing in my tool. Everything's chopped off. Everything fits the Ultra handles. I have the octagons on everything.
Okay. I wish I was as close to Ultra as you are.
You don't have to be. You could order those octagons, and they'll ship you them, and you take them down to a welder and have them welded on.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. John?
So if I'm hold on. If I'm going to go look for these, I go to A1 and I'm going to search for crane tool.
I don't think it's a A1 tool. I think it's strictly Standliner.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some of them that you can only get from Standliner.
Okay.
Yeah. So John, while I'm looking for that, tell us what your favorite tool is right now, or recently that you've been using, or something that is striking your fancy.
You're very funny, Vince.
No.
So I'm breaking in because now I live in the world of electronics, and I type on a keyboard all day. I miss dents. I miss my dent tools. I really do. But I'm breaking in a Samsung Tab S4, and I'm getting to know the world of Android a bit more on the tablet, and I'm hoping to have some good tips and tricks for you Android users coming down the line. But these things are a pain in the butt. No wonder Apple is just like stupid and works. Android is just stupid and confusing to force it to work.
No, it's not.
Apple is just stupid and works.
Okay.
There's some really cool stuff on each of them, and I'm hoping to have a lot more reports and really bring you. I'm starting to put together some tips and tricks and things to do on the tablets and phones, and I hope to do it with Apple and Android both, because there's a lot of people that use Android and they just don't have like simple things like text replacement. That's probably one of my favorite features of an Apple product right now.
What do you mean by text replacement on Android?
So
You can save-
on your iPad, you can actually go into the settings of the tablet, go down to general, go to the keyboard, and do text replacement. So Mike Toledo is very big on this, and this is what he used for his automated text answering his customers. And you can put in whatever you need. For me, I put in the extras that are oddball things that I might charge in Mobile Tech RX. So you put that, and you can have a full paragraph in there. Like, I think 300 characters is the limit. And then you can just put a number letter combination. Like for when we're doing this, and my phone rings constantly. I've got answering text messages right now. My phone's been ringing while we're on this. And I just type in, on the messenger, I just type in IO or IM, and it puts up my whole statement that, hey, I'm on a podcast right now and I will call you back later. And I just have to enter those two letters.
I went and did that as soon as you got on to me the last time I was on the podcast, because you're like, because I was saving all my hashtags. I was copying and pasting my hashtags in my notes. And so I went and I literally, now when I get done with my Instagram post, I get to the end, and when it's time to enter all my hashtags, I literally just start typing hashtag and then just click, and it puts in all 20 hashtags.
So, and I do that on things like when I would take the a dent out of a roof panel, say that was beat with a bad hail dent, and I'd move it into price of dent, I would have the statement that said that dent wasn't included inside of the dent count. So I would make that a text replacement, and I'm trying to copy that because it's so convenient. And copy that into Android, and it's being a pain in my butt.
Well, I have it on my Android, but it's only for text messages and phone calls.
Yeah.
So
yep,
I'll have to figure out. There's got to be something.
But you got the Samsung, and I just got the iPad Pro.
I'm not Samsung.
No, I'm talking to John. He just got.
Yeah.
Didn't you just get the Samsung T?
Yeah, I have the Samsung Tab S4, which is the Samsung's fighter for the iPad Pro, because I have the iPad Pro as well.
Yeah, I just got that, and with the Apple Pencil and everything, I decided to go completely digital with all my. I had a notebook for my finances, a notebook for I do public speaking, so I had those written down. I had all these different notebooks for all these different things, and every Sunday night, my wife and I, we have a family meeting. We get together, make sure we're on the same page. And I was like, "Where's my stinking finance notebook?" And I'm searching everywhere, and I was like, "Forget it, I'm going digital." So now I have I got the Apple Pencil. I put a matte screen protector on it, so it feels like paper. And when I'm writing on my iPad, and I've been freaking loving it. Everything.
That's cool. That's cool. All right, give us one tool that you're really fond of right now, Hudson. We're running out of time. We're almost at an hour.
Yeah. Oh, dang. That I'm really loving right now. I've been experimenting with Dave Streen's new tips, like the mini tips and the different what are those? The rubber caps, the different colored rubber caps you can put on there.
Yeah.
And those are actually very fantastic. Because they're not coming off. Like I can't tell you how many caps are on the bottoms of stores I've been working on. The vacuum caps or whatever. But these caps have been they stay on there, and I think they have different like softnesses to them.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with Dave. I think he's got something in the works where I think he'll have some like color codings for like the future.
Yeah.
Of what those caps would mean. So
Yeah.
Blue would mean this, and red would mean this, and all that stuff. So very excited about that. But his caps I've been using for knocking down, been using them for pushing, and they're just super versatile and very durable.
Yeah. Each one has a different Rockwell hardness to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't figured out. I just go and I do the squish test. I'm like, oh, that seems a little softer, and then I squish, and then I do this one. I'm like, oh, that's a little bit hard. I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah.
Those
good.
are good tools.
They are. I have a whole set of them, and I got to be honest with you, I haven't broken them out of my bag yet, and I need to. I pulled them out. I looked at them. I'm like, wow, this is great. And I used the no roll.
Yeah.
I've been testing that out for, a couple months now, and I'm ready to give my report on that soon. So, coming back from MTE, there's so many tools that I got that I'm just trying out, and I'm not ready to talk about too many of them just yet. But I will be talking about them here shortly.
Well, that's one thing that's I think that a lot of people don't realize is when you have all these things to test, it slows you down tremendously.
Oh yeah.
I love helping people. I want to help you make your product the absolute best as it possibly can, and I love it when people send it to me so I can help them with that. But the thing is it's slowing me down tremendously because I have my tried and true go-to hammer, right?
Sure. The stuff that makes you money.
Exactly. And then so I'm having whenever Hayes Freeman, he sent me his prototypes for the ratchet hatchet. And I went through like 4 prototypes with him. He sent me one. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like the way this feels. It's not doing this right. He's like, oh, cool. Yeah, great. And then sent me a new one, another iteration. And I had to relearn that hammer. And then I'm like, I don't like this about it. I think you should change this. He's like, oh yeah, that's great. Okay, changes it. Now I got to learn another freaking hammer. And because I want to do due diligence for someone that's asking for my help. And it slows you down. But man, I love the honor and privilege it is to help people with that.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, do we get free tools every once in a while? Yes. Do we buy tools? Yes. It takes us out of the day to go and figure out how to use someone's tool. It takes us out of the day to go and make a video on it. It takes us out of the day to talk about it. So
it is time consuming.
It is.
And
but we do.
I'm supposed to warm up here, so I'm going to actually get to go fix a dent pretty soon.
That's good.
We were above freezing for the first time today.
If you need some help, John, just let me know. I'll be in Minnesota at the end of April. It should be nice and warm up in your neck of the woods by then.
Yep.
I hope to see you out there.
I actually got to bring that up. We got so busy at the last corporate meeting, we didn't make it much past the Anson event. So,
well, yeah. Now, just so everyone knows, there's a ton of events coming up. Go on the PDR Tool. Tool Time Facebook page. We have a list of everything that's coming up in the next 2 months. I also, in the show notes, I put up there the crane tools, so you know which ones I was talking about with Hudson. Those two, you could get this set, and those two will cover everything you need.
Oh, wow. I wasn't even thinking about these two. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, John, I think we need to bring this episode to an end. Hudson, thank you for coming on and filling the shoes of young Danielson while he's out drinking rum with his family.
Anytime, boys. Anytime.
Yeah, and we all appreciate what you're doing for us on PDR Tool Time, and Hudson helped us with our new logo too, so it's looking pretty awesome with the red and the orange and black. It looks really good. We appreciate that.
Yeah, he starts forcing us to be realistic, take notes. Oh,
yeah,
man, like adults around here, like adults.
Vince was complaining like a little baby today because I'm like, hey, here's some of the questions I'm gonna send you. He's like, what are you doing? We just go off the cuff. I'm like, sorry for being organized, Vince.
Well,
sorry for trying.
All right.
For the record, I probably should have read those and been prepared.
All right, gentlemen. I'd like to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, don't do stupid stuff.
And remember to keep it stiff. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of PDR Tool Time.